Does a low summer caseload have you feeling down, discouraged, and stressed out? Well, then listen in to today's episode, where I share how you can protect yourself from the dreaded summer slump.
Hey, Christian therapist, are you craving a counseling career that aligns with your faith and actually supports your well being? Welcome to the Prosperous Christian Therapist Podcast. I'm Kimberly Van Hooser, Christian therapist, private practice owner, and business coach for mental health professionals like you. In this podcast, you'll get practical strategies and faith led guidance to help you build a thriving private practice, one that serves your clients well and makes an impact for the kingdom of God. So, what are you waiting for? Grab your notebook and join me for today's episode.
Welcome to the Prosperous Christian Therapist Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Van Hooser. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist with a Christian counseling practice located in the state of Colorado. And I'm also a Christian mentor and business coach for therapists who are wanting to start and grow their private practice that is rooted in the Lord. If you're wondering why your private practice isn't thriving, maybe you're worried that you have a marketing or visibility problem. Perhaps your phone consultations are not converting to clients or you have a low client retention rate. That's where I can help with one on one coaching. When you schedule your initial session with me, I'll send you a practice clarity assessment. This will help evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of your practice so we make sure that we spend time in our first session focusing on your areas of biggest concern. Don't waste your efforts on marketing and visibility if your systems are flawed. It's amazing how much clarity one focused conversation can give you. If you're interested in working with me one on one, check out the show notes below to book your first session. Today's episode is about how to protect yourself from the summer slump. Every year as summer approaches, I hear therapists talking about how they are dreading summer, how they're really worried about the dip in their caseloads and how they're going to make it through. And they're struggling to find ways to learn how to navigate this season successfully. I think it's easy to start to pick up on that chatter from our colleagues and to even notice for ourselves as the caseload dips what our own responses are for that. And even for myself, I've been in private practice for over 10 years now. And especially during the month of July, which tends to be my slowest month, I start to feel pretty uncomfortable. And if I'm not careful, I can let that feeling of discomfort spiral into anxiety. I can let negative thoughts take over, worrying that I'm not going to have enough, that my business is dying out, that I'm a failure as a practice owner. So during this season, I've really been trying to lean into the Lord and see what His methods are for how to handle the summer slump. And that's what the inspiration is for today's podcast and what I'm going to be sharing with you today. The first thing that's going to help set you up for success as a practice owner during summer is to start to see summer and business for what it actually is. So you might need to change your perspective on summer. The truth is that summer is a season. And by nature of a season, it's going to have different expectations and different requirements than other seasons. It's also important to remember that every business, no matter what it is, has ebbs and flows. It has busy seasons. That means it also is going to have slow seasons. It's not a realistic expectation that you will be seeing the same number of one on one individual therapy clients during the summer that you might during other times of the year. So, when you understand that, it becomes a lot easier to accept a slowdown in your one on one sessions during the summer. One thing that I like to do whenever I'm noticing that I have a negative perspective on something or I'm experiencing any anxiety or worry or hopelessness about a situation is I take a moment to check in with God to see if He is looking at things the same way as I am. And guaranteed, God is not looking at summer like, oh man, the summer slump. I'm so discouraged. Man, our business is really not going to do well. You better worry about your finances and if you're going to be able to survive. That is not a godly perspective. That is not God's mentality towards this season. And whenever I'm not thinking the way God is thinking, it's going to lead to some problems for myself. So this just gives me a chance to make sure that I am looking at things with my God glasses on, that I have His perspective in mind. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Let Him shape and form what your perspective is on summer. The second thing that I think private practice clinicians can do in order to protect themselves from experiencing the summer slump in a negative way is to plan accordingly. This means that we do need to be wise stewards with our finances. If you can know and expect and predict that most likely in the summer you could experience a dip in finances, then you need to make sure that you're planning that into your budgeting during the other times of the year. So it's wise to make sure you're setting aside savings that will cover your needs during the summer. It's also wise to start thinking about ways to diversify your income. Typically speaking, you're going to have fewer one-on-one therapy sessions during the summer. So start to think about where else you could get income from that might be a little bit easier to generate during the summer. Maybe that looks like speaking engagements. Maybe that looks like offering some retreats or intensives, paid webinars, starting some therapy groups. So you people who are available during the summer can commit to on a routine basis, finding ways for course creation so you can generate some more passive income during the summer. This all takes some planning and time and effort, like any part of business does. But once you get those systems in place, your summers are going to feel probably a lot less stressful if you're not panicking about where your next paycheck is coming from. And I know if you're listening to this during real time, we're pretty deep into summer as it goes right now, but this is the perfect time to start thinking about next summer. So, what is it that you could start to work on now? So, by the time that next summer rolls around, you have something in place so you're not just relying on one to one therapy sessions for your income. Thirdly, I think it's so highly important that we are aware of whatever negative thoughts are coming into our head during the season. And we need to take those thoughts captive and exchange them for God's truth. We don't want to give the enemy a foothold. And I say that from my own experience. Looking back over the years, I've seen where I have been prone to anxiety and where I've actually partnered with those negative thoughts with that feeling of anxiety. And that's given the enemy a place to steal the joy that I can experience during this season. And especially, I can say this looking back now, it's been so unfounded. My worries, my concerns, my fear. God promises that He is our provider, that He's going to give us what we need. I've always had what I need. He has been so faithful to take care of me. He has been faithful to sustain my private practice. It's never dried up. And I want you to remember that if God has put this dream in your heart for a business, that He is invested in that. Remember, He is a good business partner. He doesn't make unwise investments. He doesn't just go on vacation and forget about you during the summer. He's right there with you. So I encourage you to take inventory of the thoughts that are coming up during this season. If there's anything that is attached to fear or hopelessness or discouragement, then that is not God's heart for you. You can take that thought and exchange it for His truth. I also want to remind you that we can live differently from the rest of the world and that we can experience a different reality when we have God's perspective. So even if it might be really easy to get sucked into that negativity that you're hearing from quite a large group of therapists of that fear and worry of the summer season, of experiencing the summer slump, of not having enough, that is not what God has for you. So just because it's normal doesn't mean it's healthy or accurate. Start to remind yourself and declare over your practice that you will have more than enough. Take control over your thoughts and make sure that you are stepping into the empowered mindset that is a gift from being a son or daughter of God. You don't have to live in lack or from a perspective of lack. I really believe that God has an invitation for you to enjoy this season. Don't let the enemy steal the joy of the season because you are panicking or you are overworking or striving, just trying to desperately get clients into your door during this time. I encourage you to enjoy the pacing of the summer. Take time with God and ask Him where you should be focusing your energy and attention. There are still people who are in need of therapy during the summer and who are looking for therapy during the summer. So I still think there is wisdom in maintaining your consistency with your marketing and your networking and trusting that there are still people who are in need of your services. But God might be calling you to focus your energy and resources in different areas if you happen to have some more time because you don't have as many one on one therapy sessions. So take time to listen to the Lord, see where He's directing your attention, give yourself a chance to refresh and to be renewed. I see so much on social media for therapists about erase the summer slump, don't experience a dip in your caseload just by taking this course or applying these new techniques. And my question is, why can't we enjoy the slowdown? Why do we need to get rid of the summer slump? Like I said, I think it's a natural part of businesses to have busy seasons and slow seasons. And usually, this desire to erase the summer slump is because we fear not having enough financially. And that's where I think the wisdom comes in of making sure that we're stewarding our resources at other times of year, that we're planning ahead for the slower season. And if you know that every single summer you're stressed out because you don't have enough one on one therapy sessions, we're either setting aside money to cover that in the summer and or we're looking for other ways to generate income during the summer. That's smart business thinking right there. I hope something from this podcast resonated with you today. If you have been experiencing summer with any anxiety or fear or discouragement, please be renewed. Remember to partner with God for his perspective on summer. He is a great business partner. He has not abandoned you during this season. And trust me, your caseload will bounce back. There is a harvest coming, and I encourage you to use this time to be prepared for that harvest. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions for me or any interest in working with me one-on-one, please feel free to check out the show notes. You can either book your session directly through Calendly, or if you'd like to inquire further, you can contact me via email. If you haven't already done so, I'd love to have you be a part of my Facebook group, and feel free to sign up for my weekly newsletter where I send out faith-led encouragement for clinicians just like you, as well as the link to my weekly podcast so you never miss an episode. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week. If you found value in today's episode, would you leave a written review on Apple Podcasts? It helps other faith-led clinicians like you find the show. And don't forget to join my free Facebook community, Start and Grow Your Private Practice as a Christian Therapist, where you'll join other clinicians for encouragement, accountability, and free tips and support. See you there.